This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
With BR Asbestos, your trusted local experts in asbestos surveying, removal and compliance. Safety without compromise. Visit br-asbestos.co.uk.
Yes, welcome to the latest edition. Let's get all the action from Tuesday night, first of all.
Chance for Al Byrne to send it forward for Ashton United. Now stick through the path of Hardy there. Gets a shot away and it's 1-0 to Ashton United. It was a low effort across Jack Norton, who's not too happy. He got...
just wrong-footed there.
Yeah, he was wrong-footed, yeah. And I mean, as much as it was a nice finish by Hardy, it's a little bit too simple, really, from Whitby point of view. There's a chance here for Ashton now into the penalty area. James Hardy just turns it away from one. He's going to get a shot away Hardy and then it's into the bottom corner. That was a scruffy goal to say the least, Liam.
Yeah, just too open at the back there, and they're just not reading that one very well. Very strange at Ashton, are we? We've had a very good night.
Very good or very bad, yeah. As it is, James Hardy's making it very bad. Whitby 2 goals behind after just 16 minutes here at Hurst Cross.
That was the story of the 2-0 defeat over at Ashton United. Welcome to the Codcast. I'm Andrew Snaith, and I'm very pleased to say I'm joined by Liam Ryder from the Whitby Town media team. We'll also be hearing from Paul Connolly a little bit later on. Liam, of course, you were commentating for This Is the Coast Extra with Paul over in Ashton. Quite a one-sided game, certainly in the first period, but a little bit of fight shown after the break from Whitby, but just couldn't quite get that one goal back just to put a bit of pressure on the opposition.
Yeah, that was it. The first sort of 16 minutes, really, they defined the match. Two really poor goals to concede from a Whitby perspective. But like you say, there was fight from Whitby. I think I may have sort of alluded to it with Paul sort of off mic after we'd finished the broadcast, saying that it felt like that sort of game last season we may have lost 3-4, 5-0 just because heads of the drop. But both times when we conceded, you could tell the players were disappointed. But they didn't let it affect them in a negative way in that, that's it, we've lost already. They had a good fist of it. They didn't really create too many sort of clear-cut chances, but you can't fault the effort once again from everybody there. It's a big learning curve. Ashton are a team that very well established. I know they've had quite a few changes in terms of their squad, but they've brought in some very experienced Northern Premier League and higher up standard of players. So they're going to be up there at the end of the season. I think you're going to learn from these, and August is a good time to have these sort of defensive lapses, shall we say, when it's so relentless. And equally, you've got a good chance to put things right just because of the quick turnaround at the moment. But obviously disappointing to lose, and in particular the manner of the goals. But you've got to take heart from the fact that the players, we've watched it, they've given their all, even if they were lacking sort of that final product, particularly in the second half.
Indeed. Paul, your thoughts on Tuesday night?
Yeah, it proved to be a frustrating evening more than anything, I think, against Ashton United. You look across the course of the game and we've killed our chances within sort of 15, 16 minutes with two, really soft goals to give away. It's becoming a bit of a frustration. I know you can tell from sort of Denny Ingram's interview and Lee Bullock's last week after the Guiseley game that, we have to be better in making those decisions in the defensive areas as to, when to clear it, when to play. Ultimately, to learn to do the simple things, to head the ball, to kick the ball. So yeah, that's obviously frustrating, and the manner of the two goals was disappointing. But you look at across sort of the second half, particularly, we more than competed with Ashton United, but ultimately, competing with the team's no good when you're 2-0 down. You have to go out and you have to make things happen, and you have to ensure that you get yourselves back into the game. And while we had chances, they had chances too. I felt that we were just always just knocking on the door and not quite making the most of the chances when they arrived. So yeah, it was a disappointing night for Whitby, but ultimately, it's one of those we've got to reset and get ourselves ready again for the game against Warrington Town.
Well, at the game on Tuesday, after the final whistle, Liam caught up with the Whitby Town assistant manager, Denny Ingram.
Well, Denny, it seems to be the Tuesday night curse at the moment, doesn't it? Defeat at Ashton United this evening, obviously 2 poor goals, but I guess on the whole you probably can't fault the effort.
Well, there's question marks, certainly. Again, like you've just said there, Tuesday night hoodoo again. Prepare right, come out just before kick-off. So if we win the toss and we take kick-off, make sure we're putting in behind, don't invite any pressure. To sloppy pass back, sloppy touch. We haven't cleared it 10-15 yards, which has given them the incentive to get on the front foot, put us under pressure right from the off, and we couldn't get out, conceded. Well, obviously we've given them a hand up. They were like the red arrows at times. We conceded one, and then what you don't do is concede a second one pretty much straight away. Ball's got played in behind, and the centre half again has decided to try and bring it down and have a touch instead of just clearing it, which has then gifted them the second. And then you're up against it. You can't keep doing it. I've just said in there, you can't keep. It doesn't matter what level you play at. You cannot give a team two goals head start and expect to compete and win games of football.
Yeah, and like you said, particularly disappointing. It's more so the manner of them, isn't it? Really, like I say, they're just far too simple.
Yeah, they're not even good goals. Like you said there, if a kid gets it out his feet and rifles into the top corner, if the cut through is, they play it wide, great ball into the box, and somebody gets on the end of it, you don't accept it, but it's part and parcel of the game. But we're our own downfall again. And I just said it can't keep happening. It can't, because either they learn and they change what they're doing, or we're going to have to change it.
Yeah, and just looking at how we're lined up this evening, and one enforced change which was expected with Stan Hewitt not being available, so to that back four, which worked well in the second half against Lucas on a Saturday, but I guess really possibly a game where you could have done with that extra defender there.
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, formations and tactics and all this kind of carry on goes out the window when you perform like that for the first 15-20 minutes again, and give yourself an uphill battle. If we'd put it into the corner, hadn't soaked up that pressure first 10-15 minutes, give them a hand up, conceded 2 goals, we would have probably been stood here going, oh, the back four did really well, seen the game out for first 25-30 minutes, and then gradually grew into it. And you've seen second half, look, they had a telling in there at half time. Some home truths were said, and they've come out and they've competed much better. I've just said to them there, look, we've had a couple of chances. They've had a couple of chances, don't get me wrong, but they're decent going forward, and that's how they want to play. They want to suck us in and then hit us on the counter attack. But they've gone out, they've competed, they give themselves a chance. Like I say, we've got into some good areas, just that little bit of luck that the ball didn't drop and it's a little bit too just out of reach, or the pass just didn't quite get there. But like I say, it's the first 15-20 minutes you can't do that and then think that your second half performance, because you've come out and competed, is going to mask that.
Yeah, and I guess really the best opportunities, like we did last Tuesday, come back Saturday, and that game against Warrington Town, which again will be a very tough one, but you were sort of using, I guess, last week as an example of how to respond there.
I've just said to them again, you need a massive reaction Saturday. They keep doing it to themselves. If we get a massive reaction, then we get a positive result. But we've got to look at the situation. We can't be up here one game and down there for 15-20 minutes of the next game. It's just, it can't happen. It's as simple as that.
No, and it gets really solid now. It's just about sort of getting that more consistency, isn't it? A theme we've had throughout pre-season and coming to the season. Like you say, those highs on Saturday, and then having that sort of mad 15 minutes, if you like, this evening, where it's just going to really let the team down there.
It is. And look, we can keep saying it. We're 4 games in. What was it? 6 games in pre-season. A new group of lads coming together. We've got some inexperienced lads in there, shall we say, who probably haven't played the level before, and they've got to learn. They've got to learn fast. I've just spoke about the boys who we brought from the Northern League. They don't do anything flash, but the basics that they do is, it ticks all my boxes. It's and that's the given, and the more inexperienced ones need to look at them boys, get that side of it right first, and then they'll be able to go and express themselves after that.
Yeah, and a couple of positives as well in terms of your availability for Saturday. Callum Hickman will be back, and Stan Hewitt, I don't know how he hopefully he came tonight and travelled, at least that's a promising sign.
Yeah, Stan's a bit of a difficult one. His ankle's still really swollen, so I think Saturday will be a little bit too close for him. But yeah, Cal's back Thursday, so we'll get him out. He's been doing a few runs and what have you when he's been away, so he's back. It's an extra option up top, so that is a positive, yes.
This is the Codcast.
With BR Asbestos, your trusted local experts in asbestos surveying, removal and compliance. Safety without compromise. Visit br-asbestos.co.uk.
This is the Cast.
That's Denny Ingram speaking to Liam after the game. Disappointing 2-0 defeat there, and we also caught up with Callum Hickman, who will be back in action on Saturday for the home game against Warrington Town.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back and get going with the lads now. Obviously, I've been all day missing 3 games. It's a shame, especially after having a good first game. I've been doing runs every few days to keep myself ticking over. I've been listening to glimpses of the radio while we've been playing, checking for updates on Twitter constantly. But yeah, I can't wait to get back and go, and hopefully a bit more consistent with the results and go on a decent run. Yeah, Warrington Town, it'll be a tough fixture. Obviously, they've had a really good start. I think it's 3 wins and a draw, is it? Yeah, we know it'll be tough, but we can go into it full of confidence. Obviously, if we play like we did second half at League, that's obviously from what I've seen and what I've been there. But yeah, we all know what we're capable of, and hopefully we can put in a good performance and get the 3 points.
That's Callum Hickman speaking to me a little bit earlier on. That is a big boost, Liam. Hickman back in the side, back in contention for the weekend.
Yeah, it is. To be fair, I think Marley Grant, who didn't start at League on the opening day where Callum Hickman did, and played wearing the number 10, sort of playing all over the place, really. He has done very well in his last few games. Hasn't scored, but been a nuisance, being willing to run in behind, something which Callum Hickman does as well. But I think it's definitely positive having Hickman back for Saturday. And this running that we've got, it is a quick turnaround, and squad rotation probably will play its part. But there's part of me that sort of wants Hickman to come straight back in, just based on his performance at League alone, where he was a real menace. I think he's sort of player that, particularly a team like Warrington, where the very sort of physical. Yes, Hickman perhaps lacking the physicality, but sometimes these players don't like coming against these sort of tricky, attack-minded players, such as him. So, yeah, I think there's definitely scope for him to come straight back into the 11. Whether that'll happen, we'll see. And that may not necessarily be at the expense of Marley Grant. He could sort of open up to a number 10 type position, but we'll have to see what the management team go with there. But certainly a bonus. Having players back available is massive at this stage of the season, because, like I said, the squad will be utilised. But yeah, good first and foremost to have him back available, and see what it can bring to the side now he's back.
Absolutely, yeah. He certainly linked up very well with the likes of Stu Rose and his other ex-Borough Rangers teammates, like Ben Turner. So getting Hickman back in there, I think, is a big boost for the Blues. And Liam caught up with Mo Gashi earlier on for his reaction to Tuesday and to look ahead to Saturday's home game.
Well, Mo, a bit of a mixed start to 2026-27. 2 wins, 2 defeats. How have you found it going so far?
Yeah, good. Like, we had obviously the league game where we picked up a big 3 points. But it's just been a mixed bag. Like, even like yesterday, I just felt like the start probably killed us a little bit, and we just had a bit too much to do, even though I thought with the chances we had, we could have easily either got a point or with a better start, 100% got 3 points. So there's positives, and obviously there's mistakes which we can't continue to make, which we need to obviously learn as a collective.
Yeah, and I guess as well disappointing because you look back at the game on Saturday against Ilkeston, nice and solid defensively. It does feel though sort of the goals we have conceded so far just probably been a bit too sloppy for your liking.
Yeah, I think obviously away from home, you just want to stay solid for the first 20, first half really, and just get like Dennis says, like get a foothold in the game. But we just started really slow, even just from the minute one. So it's just frustrating. Like we was more than capable of getting something from that game. Like I said, obviously off call with you, like either get a point or get free. Do you know what I mean? So just try not to lose at the minute. We're either playing really well and like again Ilkeston at home, or we're losing 2-0, which is just I think we're better than that, and I think it will get better 100%. Just need to keep going.
Yeah, and just looking at that game against Ash in a bit more detail, so like you said, a really poor start, 2-0 down in 16 minutes. But I guess much like we saw against Ilkeston, where the second half the tempo really increased. Similar in a way on Tuesday night, because you got the fact of that second half. Yes, Ashton had chances, but Whitby for large spells had a lot of the ball and got in decent areas just without sort of that final product.
Yeah, I think I've been going about it quite a lot, and it's true. It's like the final touch, for example. It might be a pass, it might be a shot. That's including myself too. Or the ball going across the bar. Doing little things like the final touch, I feel like we're just missing. And yeah, we had more than enough chances, even 2-0 down, to bring that back. So 100% we're disappointed, but there was some good parts of the game as well where I felt like we were dominating possession. There was some good moves. We just need to convert chances when they're given to us.
Yeah, and I guess as well, really, it sort of sums up the character in the squad, doesn't it? The fact that, as much as, yes, it's disappointing to go 2-0 down so early, that, heads didn't drop and they kept, doing the best you could, I guess, to try and get back into the game, because you never know, if you get one goal, it suddenly makes it a bit more interesting and nervy for them.
Well, that's 100%. 2-0 is obviously a dangerous scoreline. If you get one early, I felt like, do you know what I mean? You get 2, 3 and etc. But it was just getting that first one, which was just so difficult. It just felt like it just weren't falling for us. But to be fair to the lads, like obviously you can see it around the change room. Like when we lose, it's disheartening. But not in a negative way in terms of like getting on at each other. We're all mates, we're all friends, and we just want the best. Do you know what I mean? We just want the best out of each other. So it's still positive. Like nobody. I couldn't like name one player and say like, oh, we sacked it off or this and that. Like it's all positive. Obviously, just more disappointment rather than anything.
Yeah, and we saw last week the response from the guys in defeat with that very good performance against Ilkeston on Saturday just gone. I guess really you sort of use that as an example now to say, right, let's go and do that again this Saturday against Warrington.
Yeah, 100%. Especially after Tuesday, I think that's the beauty of Saturday, Tuesday. Even though it is tiring, it does give you the opportunity to just get back as soon as possible next game. But yeah, I think the important thing for us as a squad is, for example, getting a good result and then going on a little run and building some consistency. I think that's what the gaffers are craving as well, and that's something we need to get into our heads as well, where we need to build a run and build momentum. And yeah, Saturday can't go quick enough, obviously, after Tuesday.
Yeah, just looking at that game as well. Obviously, Warrington, a side have had a very good start to the season. I guess really sort of preparing for what's probably going to be a very physical battle. Looking at the way they play so far.
Yeah, we've already been made aware of how physical they are. I know it's at home, so I always back us at home. It's obviously we've got a home crowd behind us. I feel like every team is physical. I feel like guys who are physical, and it's just trying to find ways to beat teams. And I back us as a squad. I feel like we can compete against any team in the league. So we'll go again. We'll give them a good run for the money.
Extra.
The home of live Whitby Town coverage. This is the Coast Extra.
With BR Asbestos, your trusted local experts in asbestos surveying, removal and compliance. Safety without compromise. Visit br-asbestos.co.uk.
This is the Coast Extra.
That's Mogashi speaking to Liam a little bit earlier on. I mean, he's another player who's obviously going to be instrumental at both ends of the field, Liam. It's funny, I seem to remember, I think it was last season, we had a little run where we were doing well in midweeks but couldn't buy a win on Saturdays. I can't remember the last time we lost on a Saturday. I think it was probably Leak away, wasn't it, last season?
Yeah, I mean, going throughout pre-season, we've lost, 4 games in total, including pre-season, and they've all been on a Tuesday night. The Saturdays, we've done all right so far. A few draws, primarily wins on the Saturdays as well. So it's a bit of a strange one, that. Because like you say, it's, we've tended to do okay on Tuesdays and then sort of panicked when we've been in front of a bigger crowd on a Saturday afternoon. But, it's a bit of an odd one. Hopefully that sort of trick can keep working this weekend and then improve going into Tuesday at Cleethorpes next week. But, it is a bit of a strange one. I mean, if that is going to count, at least the blessing is we've got more Saturday games than we do Tuesday nights. It's just one of those odd things, and I couldn't help but mention it to Denny Ingram at the start of his interview, really, after Ashton, where, basically saying that the midweek curse sort of goes on for whatever strange reason. There's nothing behind it, really. I don't really know what it is. But yes, hopefully we can keep it going in terms of at least getting the result on Saturday. But obviously, it does need to be improved longer term, particularly think at home where we've got these teams making these horrible midweek journeys, which we know all too well last night. They are really horrible, particularly coming back. So, a bit of a strange one, but let's not hopefully think too much into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you mentioned Cleethorpes, obviously top of the league. We know Warrington Town, who we face on Saturday, second. I think there's only 3 unbeaten sides in the league now, and they are 2 of them. It's a tricky run coming up, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, last season we showed where we sort of defied the odds and beat teams who were the first team to defeat Warrington Rylons on their own patch, but obviously it's an entirely new squad now. But these teams have got to lose at some point. Their run's obviously more impressive than what the likes of Ilkeston had last weekend, where they'd won their first 2 and then Whitby made them look pretty much bang average. But I don't know if that's just the standard of opposition have played. But it does take its toll. I mean, I was just going through earlier, doing some work on the matchday programme for Saturday's game, and you look for the Warrington squad and it is very experienced and it's got plenty of depth to it as well. So under no illusions, it'll be a tough game. And I think really this is where the word I mentioned earlier, lessons from the previous matches, likes of Guiseley and Ashton, the other 2 really experienced teams we've come up against, where we've sort of conceded poor goals. I think really, we're going to have to be on it on Saturday to stand a chance, because Warrington are going to be a very similar type team, very direct, which is what's caused us a few issues so far this season. But, they'll have a training session on Thursday. I'm sure Denny Ingram in particular is he's very much sort of the lead man, if you like, when it comes to the tactical side of things. He'll be sort of having words and preparing the defence for that, because that's one particular they have let themselves down over the first few matches.
Yeah, that's right. Paul, your thoughts ahead of that big game on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we know the sort of challenge that Warrington Town will bring to us on Saturday afternoon. They're a big, strong side. they'll be looking to cause us problems. You look across that team, and there's a vast amount of experience in the likes of sort of Evan Gums being the focal point and the skipper of that team, but as well, leading the line players like Ewan Bange, who, shall we say, caused us problems last season. So yeah, they're going to be a good side, a strong side to come up against, and they've started the season very well. I think they've picked up 10 points from a possible 12 so far, so they'll be coming into it full of confidence and buoyed by that good run so far. The only one they've dropped points in was against Cleethorpes, who have pretty much matching them at the moment at the top of the division. So it's going to be a very difficult game, and Whitby, need to be stronger. They need to ensure they don't allow themselves to be bullied. And that's obviously something Denny Ingram will be looking at. Lee Bullock will be looking at as well in terms of the personnel of the squad and who they go with. But yeah, there's obviously going to be positives for Whitby as well in the fact that Callum Hickman will be back. He's obviously a player that can then link up the midfield and the attack very well. Does he come straight back in? I'm not sure, because Marley Grant's certainly done well in these last few games as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Whitby shape up for this one against Warrington Town. But yeah, it'll be a tough test nonetheless.
Indeed, and of course it is the ever popular crossbar challenge, Liam, back on Saturday. Maybe somebody will be able to clip the woodwork this time around.
Yes, well that's the idea. It's I've had the first couple of events of it now against Guiseley and Ilkeston, and both times, like you say, nobody's actually hit the crossbar yet. But the first time I had a couple of Guiseley fans get involved, which is fine. Away fans more than welcome to enter. And then the guy last week, I think he's actually sort of tagged along with the lads from Borough Rangers without actually being a player. He's pretty much followed them all over, and now he's come to support them at Whitby Town as well. So yeah, I mean, when it's people that the players, obviously they couldn't watch it apart from on the videos afterwards, but that I think they sort of enjoy it when it's people you can take the mick out of them a bit. But yeah, so they all go again on Saturday. We're back having that and see who gets involved this time. But nice and easy to enter. You can just head to the Whitby Town website to get information. There's an article there just from Monday it was published. But essentially, you'll just find a link there which goes through to the Crossbar Challenge UK website, or if you want to go directly there, just Google Crossbar Challenge UK Whitby Town, and it'll bring it up, and you can enter for Saturday's game. It's just £3 an entry, and yeah, there'll be at the moment the prize pot with the guaranteeing is at least £100 for somebody if they do hit the crossbar. So from their point of view, hopefully that does happen. But it'd be nice to actually see somebody hit the woodwork at some point. But yeah, it's been a good start of it, well received, and really just a good bit of fun and games at half time. It sort of adds to the match day experiences, which is what we're really keen to try and improve on across this season.
Absolutely, yeah. So it is a 3 p.m. kickoff as usual on a Saturday at the Tobar Express Stadium. We have got live commentary on This Is the Coast Extra if you really can't make it there in person, with Liam, Paul, Nathan, and the rest of the media team there. And yes, you can enjoy it either on the radio or live in person, which is the best way of enjoying it. I mean, those first two home games of the season, Liam, over 1,000 in total between both those games. Decent start, really. Decent figures, decent atmosphere.
Yeah, it is, and I think the players are feeling that as well. They've sort of commented on the atmosphere, how it's been good. And obviously we've got Kev and Tim who are always there, or Statler and Waldorf as they're now being called themselves. But yeah, they're always making a good bit of noise. But it's good to hear the kids getting involved, which is something to really benefit from at the start of the season. When you got the Tuesday night games, even that the kids can go. Not have to worry about parents telling them it's bedtime, it's a school night and all that. But yeah, it's been really good, and I think it's nice that you hear the players compliment that as well. I mean, it might be a bit emotional this Saturday, because I'm sure a lot of the locals will be aware. Paul Rea, who sadly passed away in July, he's having his funeral this coming Monday, with the wake being in Turnbull's Bar at the Tobar Express Stadium, and there will be a minute's applause for him as well before kick-off. I know a few of his relatives are attending the game as well, so yeah, they'll be quite emotional. But hopefully that can sort of lead on to a nice atmosphere for the players to play in again. But yeah, that certainly the crowds have been up, and long may that continue, because the players are appreciating it, the management are appreciating it, and I think it's making an impact, because I look back at the Ilkeston game last week, where last season we may not have gone on to put in such a convincing second half, but it wasn't just a case of go one up. I know it was a bit fortuitous to go from Joey Pewty, but it's sort of just spurring the players on to just get that extra gear and try and score more, which we probably didn't do enough of last season when we went ahead in matches. So, hopefully we can keep the crowds up. The weather's nice at the moment as well, which it obviously helps. But, hopefully across the season we can keep those crowds, at a steady level, and, hopefully improve our home form in the process.
Thank you, Liam, and thank you to everyone listening and our interviewees as well this week. The assistant manager at Whitby Town, Denny Ingram, Mo Gashi, and Carl Hickman as well. Thank you for listening, and we're back on Saturday afternoon and next week with another Codcast ahead of that big Tuesday trip to Cleethorpes. Yes, it's the top two coming up for the Blues in the NPL Premier. But for me, it's bye for now.